Good afternoon, everyone. This is CS Sara Jain, and today I'm here to talk about why to choose a LLP and why to choose a private company. So, what are the benefits which is there in the LLP? As LLP is a new thing, so many of you wonders why to choose LLP when there is a conventional type of doing the business, which is a private company, opening a private company. So here mostly I'll be talking about what is LLP, what are the advantages and disadvantages of opening a LLP. So first thing, the LLP works like a normal partnership firm, but it gives you benefits of a private limited company. It is a separate legal entity and the partners have a limited liability. In a partnership firm, the partners have unlimited liability, but in a LLP, the partners have a limited liability because the name only specifies that it is a limited liability partnership firm. The partners work on the basis of a common agreement, which is known as a LLP deed. They have mutual rights and benefits between each other, so there is no way that a partner's liability will be responsible on the another partner, as it is a limited liability partnerships. So, if we count to the advantages of a LLP, so one and one, if it goes, so one is the separate legal entity. So, LLP is a separate legal entity, so it protects you from any liability which comes on your personal assets. Second thing, that it requires minimum of the two partners, but there is no limit on the maximum number of partners that you can have. So in private company you can have maximum of 200 members, but in a LLP there is no such limit. You can have as much of members as you want. Then another thing, there is no minimum capital requirement. So you can make LLP with a minimum of 5,000 rupees contributing each person. You can make the LLP. Third most important advantage of an LLP is no distribution tax. So if in a company you distribute the profits to the members, you need to deduct the DDT and then distribute the profit. But in case of LLP, if the members or the partners take out the profit from the LLP, then they need not to pay the DDT. Another is the easier way to wind up. Now, in a company, there is a process of striking off, which is a huge process. Also, incur a lot of cost. So, in LLP, it is very easy to wind up an LLP. Also, if we consider regarding incorporation of LLP is very much cheaper as comparative to private limited company, and the compliance requirement of an LLP is very much less than a private limited company. And there is no such mandatory annual statutory meetings as it is applicable on the company. On LLP, there is no such annual statutory meetings are applicable. There is a different level of memberships that an LLP offer, which is one is designated partner and non-designated partner. Now here it comes, this is a benefit of LLP. Why not to make an LLP? Are there any reasons why we shouldn't be making a LLP? So first thing is, you need to give the public disclosure of your financial accounts. As you will be submitting your annual return, you will be giving the public disclosure of your annual accounts. But in case if you just have a registered partnership firm, then you need not to disclose your annual accounts publicly. But in case of LLP, you need to do it. The another disadvantage why people don't want to open a LLP is they can't raise funds as a venture capital or through a venture capital funding, because mostly whoever is an investor, they would need some sort of shares in the company. They don't want to become and come as a partner, because it gives you a lot of responsibility when you are a partner. So the major disadvantage why people don't consider LLP is just this, that it doesn't help in venture capital funding. LLP are taxed at a higher income tax rate, which is at general 30%, as comparatively in company it's around 25%. So LLPs have a lesser income tax rate. Now, in LLP, you need to have at least two partners. As comparative to sole proprietorship firm, it can also work with one person can open a sole proprietorship firm and work in a OPC. You can come up with one person. Where LLP, if they need up two partners, if even a one partner leaves, the LLP will be dissolved. Then LLP need to take the consent of all the partners before they transfer their mutual rights to anyone. So for example, there are two partners and one partner want to transfer his mutual right to another partner, then he has to take the permission from the another partner. Now, what do you mean by a private limited company? So, if you take about a private limited company, it's suitable for a small business. It is very suitable for a small business. The major advantage of a private limited company is it helps you in raising the funding easily, because you can offer shares to the people. Okay, so as it comes, we all know about a private limited company that it is a separate legal entity. No personal liability comes on the members, as again it's a separate legal entity, so there is no particular liability occurring on the members directly, and there is a perpetual succession. Member come and go, the company goes on, and the liability of the members become very limited. The in a particular private limited company, a person can become a director, a employee all together, and become a true owner of the company as well, being at the different positions of the company. And what is a major benefit of of coming into a private limited company is it gives you a better sources of borrowing of the funds. So if for example you want to borrow the funds, the bank will prefer a private limited company over an LLP, because private limited company gives you all this sources that the shares are there, so bank knows who is going to pay and what are the the amount of liability that can occur on the shareholders for the payment. So for borrowing of the funds, the private limited companies are preferred. Now, what are the disadvantage of a private limited company is registering a private limited company is altogether a different huge cost. Okay, and it has a lot of compliances also once post incorporation. Minimum two persons are required to make a private limited company, and the members cannot exceed 200. A private limited company cannot list itself on the stock exchange, in the sense that it cannot issue a public prospectus. So you can't invite public to invest in you, because you can't issue a public prospectus. For that you need to convert private company into a public company, and further then you can go for issuing the prospectus in the public to welcome public to invest in you. So it basically restricts the transferability of your shares. So these are all the benefits and disadvantages of LLP. Besides every cost thing, I would suggest see this way. Whenever you're going for opening a LLP or a company, you should look at this way, that do we need to go for raising funds in future or not. If you are planning to raise the funds, you should always go for a private limited company. If you want just two of you or three of you, or your close circle to come into the business and work within themselves, and you don't want a public investment to come in, then you can definitely go for an LLP, because LLP is a very easy way to work, and it has very less compliances as regard to private limited company. I hope this would be helpful for you, and see you in the next video.